take a little break in putting wire on our chicken coop because we needed a bigger place for our mom rabbit and her babies. They could not be in the chicken coop any longer. They were starting to hop out and get through that wire as I showed you before. So we got that hutch built. We just want to get the chicken coop just like done. Even though we aren't going to be having chicks or chickens for a few months, it'll just be nice to have that checked off the list. And maybe that's my nesting instincts before baby comes, to just get things, as many things checked off the list as we possibly can. I have done some like in-home nesting, prepping for a baby, washing clothes and things, but honestly most of it has been projects. So I'm homestead nesting prior to our baby.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done.
10 feet. Well, it only goes like to the middle.
I took that into account.
Okay. Would it have been easier to do these strips vertically? I mean, it's too late now, but maybe we can do that for the door. You wouldn't be able to tell, they're squares. So we've drilled on the back panels, and now we just have to cut off some excess on the top and the bottom. Man, wire is rough. Working the wire on the rabbit hutch isn't as bad because it's a small area.
Hey Junie, hand me that drill.
Okay.
Thank you.
So much.
Yeah, thank you.
So Nate did a ton of the wire job on the chicken run. I was taking care of kids, helping when I needed to, feeding people, and I also needed to fertilize all of the fruit trees and fruit berries. And after that, I came back and helped him. We attached wire connecting the two sections of wire together, and we actually made the decision to paint the wire and the little screws that attach the wire to the run the same color as the run. At first we were just going to paint the screws because you could really see them, and because we hadn't placed them evenly, it was bothering us a little bit. And this is all just cosmetic. And then once we painted the screws, we realized if you painted the wire, it kind of made it invisible, which made the beams or the posts stand out a little bit more, and it just looked nicer. So we quickly did that, and it looked so much better. It has been a full day of getting the wire up, but it is all up and it's 100% done. We do have to add some type of string on this latch so that the kids can get out and we can get out when this door is locked. We've got to add the door for the hens to get out of the coop area and into the run area, and some roosting bars. We have a third phase that I want to do for the chicken coop setup, but that probably won't happen until after baby is born. But this, you guys, all of this work, it's done. It looks amazing. Just some cleanup in the coop. I'll probably get to that in the next week or so. Just clean up all the rabbit stuff out of there and have it ready for chickens. Oh my goodness, you guys. So the day after we finished the rabbit hutch, the kids had opened the door and a gust of wind had blown and just ripped the whole roof off of this hutch, which I had a worry that it might happen. So we just reattached the hinges and attached these ropes to prevent the door from opening all the way and moved on. Okay, we are going to attempt to plant some of our pasture seed mix that I had actually bought from last year. We didn't have time to plant it. So I'm really hoping to grow little pasture areas in our yard, on our property. One of which is a small little pasture area near our rabbits where we can fence in and let them out and let them forage for greens, and if the kids want to play with the baby rabbits, they can play with them in there, and that's their safe spot, and then put them back in their hutch when we're not attending them. We have so many hawks. So we have eagles, hawks, raccoons. So for our rabbits to just be on pasture all the time, they'd probably all just get eaten up. So we want to create a little mini space for them over here in the rabbit area. And then I also have a giant area over where we will someday be getting goats to plant a pasture mix over there. So we don't have a good way to compost the giant area, and planting might just be me like mixing the seeds in with a rake, and that's just kind of all we have in us for this time of our lives. And maybe we'll improve on that in the future, but I can't just keep waiting around doing nothing. So we're gonna go ahead and try to get that done. Another one of those things that's been on my mind for like a year, and I just want to do it. March is a good time to start these seeds. Fall would have been better, but we weren't ready for that yet. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start with the rabbit area first. Okay, so we've made our space. It's 6 feet by 12 feet. Just in between, centered off the hutches on each side. My goal is also to plant a shade tree in the center to shade this whole area someday. I think until then we'll have to put temporary shade structures over these rabbits in like July when we get over 100 degrees, because they will not like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of rake up the dirt, add a little bit of our compost pile here on top, and then sprinkle the seeds on and water it. I have a grand vision for our little homestead. In my mind, I see the beauty of every space coming together. But to get to that point, there's gonna be some ugly. I look at these plywood boards leading up to our hutches and to various parts of our yard that we need to get to during the mud season, and that is pretty ugly, but necessary. We do have plans to put gravel pathways where we need them to be, and we hopefully want to grow this area out. I want to plant flowers everywhere. There's just so many things, and honestly, I lose sleep over it sometimes, just dreaming big and envisioning what this space can become. But to get there, like I said, sometimes there just has to be a little bit of ugly moments. It seems like with every project we start, we've got to get all the stuff out, woods everywhere, construction area. It just is a little bit chaotic looking. And for me, it's easy to look past that because I can see what it's going to become. But to others, we might look a little white trash, to be honest. And I guess I just don't let that get in the way of the dream. And I think that's how we need to see ourselves sometimes too, is there's a process of becoming what we want to be and becoming what our lives need us to be, and sometimes it's gotta be a little bit ugly before we get there. And that's something I hope to teach my kids as we grow this homestead and grow ourselves along the way. Alright, we've got it set up. Now I'm just gonna get some water on this, figure out a little way to water it occasionally. Hopefully it grows. Okay, so we're walking over to our pasture area. I'm only like 30 to 40% sure that this will do anything. But we have these seeds, we need to use them. It's worth a try. So pretty much from the kids' trampoline over to the fence, all the way up to probably right around here. So that whole area. Do you want to start up in this corner? I want to save this space for a pumpkin patch. We tried one last year and failed miserably. I didn't have watering on it, so I don't know. So the strategy will be, I'm gonna just sprinkle the seeds and Nate's gonna follow me and try to rake them in, and then once we get the area done, we'll water it in sections because it's so big. Like, we don't really have a giant way to water it. This is a dryland pasture mix, so it should be able to handle some dryness. I think we can leave those weeds there. If it's like gonna be a goat area, they'll eat it. I just don't want death dirt all summer and then spiky weeds that they probably don't love to eat. Let's start line things up with, I think our plan was to line the pasture and like the goat fence area. Okay, we got it all done, and I'm debating on, I'll probably water it tomorrow. We probably should have done this before several days of rain, but the way our life is right now, we just do things when we can, and it might not be the best situation, but we'll see if anything comes up. The pasture will definitely be something that we improve each year, just how I feel with our berry patch. We'll see what comes up this year and we can add to it next year. Maybe add some manure or compost, or just having animals on it will help with that. So I'm pretty sure the rabbit one will be great. I'm excited to see how that one turns out. After all that, we are all tired and it is time for dinner.